We've only seen this 2 other times from Secret so far. It didn't work the first time. It was against 2 supports that they drafted it. And then it did work against Darkseer first round. And the idea I thought it was the first time around it didn't work because they picked it with no cores being in the draft just yet. And the opponent team just picked 3 cores that kind of just dumpster Anti-Mage. So Anti-Mage, I would believe, needs at least 1 good core matchup, as well as a good lane matchup. So that is, in this case, the Darkseer. Maybe they'll look to flex it, potentially move it to the mid lane or something like that. But we saw Void earlier against the Darkseer clock. You want to carry that scales pretty decently in terms of either killing the Darkseer or locking down the Surge, and then doesn't die because they have some sort of mobility against the Clockwork.
Yeah, in terms of like draft order, NiP actually selected first pick, and this is very much comfort for them. Secret, they favor second pick. In second pick, they'll always open up with their position 4 hero, and they'll try and lean on the fact that they can close out the first phase with this boss core pick and then cover it with 3 bans.
Yep.
So against Liquid, this is why we saw them utilize this with the Anti-Mage. They learned quickly through that series. They had to ban out the Lone Druid, and in this series, we're going to see them probably adapt and make sure they take away those early pressure heroes to enable this first phase Anti-Mage.
Yeah, you just gotta be afraid of the tempo being such that your towers are all gone when you have your Battle Fury.
Yeah.
Because when you get your Battle Fury, it then becomes more and more difficult for the opponent to take your objectives because you're split pushing faster, you're representing a threat on their buildings, so thus making it harder and harder for them to actually group up. But if all your buildings are gone before that point with a hero like Lone Druid, suddenly that threat isn't relevant anymore.
So then explain the Sven ban to me, because I would expect that Sven would be a little bit slower paced. These days we're usually seeing him take stacks in his own jungle, waiting to accelerate to hit that point where it's more team fight oriented as opposed to objective oriented.
It's mainly the accelerant that Darkseer provides. It's too easy
Literally.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah. Okay.
You just run around so quickly, you're enabled by him. And the change in itemization from Sven nowadays, the fact that you can go for this Ags build, you can go, so it's like Drum, Ags, SMI, these type of items, you don't really feel like you're ever kited anymore. And especially when you have the Darkseer, it's so much easier to take those 20-25 minute fights.
It's just a high physical damage, single target. Even though he does have greater cleave, he is more of a single target hero when it comes to the way his Ag stun works. And he synergizes really well with Darkseer Vacuum, which cannot be understated as a super potent combo if you ever have a low cooldown AoE stun like the Sven. And they ban out the Mag as well, which it's odd enough. I always thought Anti-Mage was pretty good against Mag, but maybe it's good against off-lane Mag, and it's not so good against like a mid-lane Mag who spends enough time with his carry being very greedy during the Anti-Mage build-up stage, such that you have these like 2 very farm cores at the 15-minute mark because Anti-Mage applies very little pressure.
I really like the bans though coming out from NiP. So they have to cover the Darkseer with 2 bans, Oracle and Enchantress. It's kind of a given.
Yep.
It's also the downfall of a first phase Darkseer. And then finally that Puck. We've seen Puppy run the position 5 Puck. Probably one of the only players really to try using it. And especially when you have this like tiny AM, you want to have a little bit more team fight and just a little bit of an annoyance. Puck, surprisingly has position 5. It is pretty darn annoying with that orb just spamming out the wave or even onto the position 4. Pretty solid hero.
It's just a catch that counters the Darkseer, right?
Yeah.
Otherwise, you have
Yule's
to go for like
well.
I was going to say, you have to go for a Yule's for
There
sure
we go.
if you don't have that type of catch. And if you can get that type of catch from your 5 position, that's a very minimal investment, especially because in the laning stage, as long as you have an independent carry like Anti-Mage, when you're dealing with a Darkseer lane, oftentimes your support can be a bit greedier. It doesn't have to be the traditional Banes, Undyings, the babysitters of the 5 position.
Yeah, this outban actually is really enjoyable to see, simply because of Viking. When they first entered the Mortal Division, they were the ones actually showcasing Alchemist as a hero. Same with Spirit Breaker. And
Was it a hero versus an anti-mage, though? I mean, I've been seeing Alchemist on the come-up, but I thought that you guys were saying that they were trying to shut down early push, but then Secret proceeds to ban out 3 people who enable farm.
Maybe
Alchemist,
that's a Team Liquid idea then. Because I feel like there's 2 ways to deal with Anti-Mage. You either outgreed it and then come online earlier, which and this is one of what we're seeing here, or the early push that we talked about the other day. So maybe with the Darkseer specifically, that's what they're afraid of. Just because Darkseer doesn't really represent early push himself. He's like an early skirmishing team fighter. So if he gets like a mech at 10, 12 minutes into the game, and then suddenly a hero like Sven, like Alk, that comes online super hard with 1 or 2 items. Suddenly they're fighting 4v5 because Anti-Mage is still farming with his Battle Fury. Seems to be the overall approach to the draft that they are afraid of, like this outgreeting but early like momentum lineup that comes online very quickly.
Yeah, it's all about the cores that can actually bring something to that fight at that 20-minute mark.
Yeah.
At least in the laning phase, Anti-Mage should feel pretty cozy. Gets paired up with a Witch Doctor, which means that even with the counterspell being in his pocket to lower the damage that he'll be taking from the Ion Shell. He'll also be getting Voodoo Restoration. Or if he wants to go aggressive and go against Darkseer, we could see some Maledict damage coming out also.
It's all about the anti-mage lane with Dark. It's all about seeing the Darkseer get 6 and then just go BAM! I've got wall.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, so good, honestly. When you watch them do that, hopefully we'll see Saberlight do that and maybe kill Timberman off.
Yeah, Saberlight definitely knows how to play this hero. He's a rank 5 offlaner who's like level 22 Dota plus on Darkseer.
He has played an unhealthy amount of Darkseer in his pubs, by the way. Looking at Dota 2 Pro Tracker, this guy, he's been spamming Legion, Darkseer. Ugh. Like,
Darkseer, never a hero you'd be able to get to rank 5 in NA playing, because it relies on enabling your teammates. Not the best strategy to go with from back home. But in this case, I love playing with good Darkseers in pubs, man. It's the type of hero that doesn't ever do anything super fancy. Yeah, you have the wall vacuum combo, but he's all about just being in the right place at the right time, surging the right targets, being there at the team fight at the right time such that you can counter-initiate with your spells, getting your Greaves off, constantly shelling waves.
Given the potential for big plays, I'm kind of disappointed that Dominator hasn't been as popular as it once was on Darkseer, because I was
just a nerfed item, right? It's
But
not
do
an
you know why,
aura either, right?
True,
You're looking for
yeah.
that Centaur fancy stomp, but I don't know. The Greaves pipe build in general just seems almost always the go-to.
It's more the position 4s that are back in. You don't need the Dominator to be your mechanism of going in, because you have Spirit Breakers, Earth Spirits, Tinies. Like, the Dominator was basically the reason because of the lack of 4s that were able to be picked in the meta. So now that you see these heroes coming back in, that's why you can be a little bit greedier. We saw previously in that last series a Pipe Rush, we've seen Mechs, Blinks, etc. Like, you can just go for whatever you want now because you're unlocked by your 4.
So then will the Clockwork be fulfilling that, or are we maybe going to see what has been popular in Divine, which is some Spirit Breakers that would be paired up with the Darkseer?
I think this will very much be their offlane duo, the Clockwork plus the Darkseer, and then they're going Grimstroke. In terms of draft order, they are sacking Saberlight in the draft to try and better their picks for Charlie and for Supreme. Charlie as a carry player, his hero pool is a little bit more kind of niche, where he's going for like Terrorblades, Nagas, Lycans, and these are more gotcha picks later in the draft. So I think that's why they're basically going, okay, we need one of our cores to be offered up, to be countered, to have a bad game, and luckily Darkseer is that type of hero that can be countered. They now go for a TA, another great hero that can be enabled by that timing of Darkseer, that 20 minutes. You go for the Blink, the Deso. Arguably, you might not even need to go Blink straight away because of the fact that you have this Surge to help you out, and they're looking to just have that group up and fight. We saw previously that TAs, they need a carry that can also maybe join the fight, because if they double greed, that access to their own jungle will be pretty hard, especially when you have this Tiny, this Witch Doctor comboing up together and trying to invade. It's going to be pretty hard to find as much farm if they're on the back foot.
So there are basically two approaches for NiP. They could go 4 Protect 1, where the TA is the mid-game damage dealer, while whoever you choose as a 1 position is off farming in the jungle. Not going to work.
No, does not work. TA is not a part of 4 Protect 1. She is the one.
Yeah, she would be.
If you are 4 protecting
so
1.
you need a carry who's going to be able to cooperate with her in the mid game.
I have been a big hater of TA this patch.
Well, you were a hater of last pick TA.
Usually in pairing with something like a Spectre. That shit don't win. So I'm kind of holding off my final verdict on the TA until I see what their carry pick is. If they do something like, a Ricky, maybe a PA, like something that's going to rely on that Grimstroke to just be skirmishing nonstop while the TA is hitting creeps, I could be down for this TA. I just think the TA versus Anti-Mage matchup used to be so much better, but now Anti-Mage is almost always exclusively will go the SNY Manta Halberd build, and once the Anti-Mage gets Halberd, TA does not kill him. Like, it just does not work anymore. She needs a BKB, she needs an MKB, and at that point you have a Blink, so she has to kill you in 1 stun, which they don't really have right now. So I think this is a matchup that on paper, it's like, yeah, TA, tons of physical damage, single target. Anti-Mage, good against Magic. But I just don't think it plays out that way anymore.
Then I'm kind of seeing the reasoning for picking an Anti-Mage in response to the Darkseer, because I know off-camera you were telling me how Darkseer kind of makes carries feel like they don't need a BKB, because I'm not going to get kited by anything. I have enough damage as long as I just stay close to the enemy with Surge. But whenever you have to deal with halberds coming out from an anti-mage, especially as a ranged core, you really do need that BKB if you're going to join into a fight.
Yeah, it does just make a lot of anti-mages unplayable matchups playable now. And I think that's something where maybe it doesn't 100% tie into the Darkseer always, but it does tie into the fact that anti-mage is a viable first-round pick, or at least Secret's trying to make it that way. It seems like their best way to find out is to just test what these teams end up trying to do against it.
I think in terms of, if you go back quickly to this Underlord, I like how when you pick Underlord in this position and you force NiP to have to get a hero countering, it's like you've already taken away so many Charlie heroes.
Ooh.
Charlie heroes against Underlord is not too hot. And Night Stalker, this is a hero rising up in popularity within the pros in the pub scene. A lot of these offlaners, Sableye especially, are trying to give it out. And in this game, it obviously will most likely be your carry, right? Because Dark's already offlane.
Yeah.
And this is going to be very spooky, potentially. The counter argument is, when you have this Underlord in lane, it's going to be a pretty good free lane for Underlord.
It is
the root is very strong against Night Stalker pre-BKB. And now you're pretty much putting yourself in a position you have to go and fight.
I think they just pick Ember and win this game on Team Secret because you want a hero that kills the Darkseer, like the surge targets, and then also kills the TA. Because what I'm thinking here is that Underlord absolutely free lane. Tiny's going to spend his entire game screwing with this TA. And so all you need is a mid laner that lanes okay and then kills the TA.
Yeah.
So what was the purpose of this one position Night Stalker? Because
there's
the Ember.
Bang. Beautiful.
We basically ruled out the possibility of out-greeting the anti-mage, especially the way that Secret banned stuff out and picking a TA on NiP. So they finish it off with a one-position Night Stalker. What is Night Stalker doing that more traditional carries would not be able to do?
He's running around exactly how we want him to. 5-minute mark comes online. He's got Grimstroke to enable him. It's similar to a Riki or a PA, but he's much less farm dependent to have as much impact early. My issue here is I think Underlord as an offlaner is only not scary when his early game is like terrible. He just gets slarked or Ursa'd and he can't play the lane, but he's going to have an absolute free lane on Underlord. I don't think there's anything they can do about it for a little while, and that's going to free up this Ember to just... I really do think this Ember pick was way too good. If I can see it, that means, Secret's going to see it from a mile away, so I know it's Secret, but even if I couldn't see the teams, I really think this Ember pick's too good.
I think the justification, though, for the Night Stalker pick is it is a hero that loves the drums. And this silence, it does work against Anti-Mage and Ember. So if they do get to that timing where they're utilizing Surge, the TA has Deso Blink, the Night Stalker is starting the fights quite cleanly, it allows the TA to get her damage off. Team Secret could feel like they're in a difficult position, but if they play the map and keep the game going long enough, then fundamentally their draft, of course, is better at late game. It's just, this Night Stalker, it does actually fit into their draft nicely to pressure early. It's just all the age-old question of, can the less kind of skilled team out-skill Secret? Can they win the game within the 25-minute mark? If not, then we're going to probably see Secret just take this eventually. And
unsurprisingly, the odds were agreeing with that, but we kind of knew that coming into this. The draft is not really anything too surprising, but I'm interested to see, because this is not a particularly easy draft for NiP to execute.
Yeah.
You have to be very clean here.
But it's fun.
Go ahead.
But it is fun, though.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
They're going to be running around, pressuring. It's just, can they actually get enough out of laning phase to then really pressure post? Like, that late game, it shouldn't be on the table. Like, if they're talking about 40 minutes for this draft, then we have issues. They
so
should
if
be...
you see a Midas, you're going to start foaming at the mouth.
Flipping my notebook out of the studio. Yeah, they need to be going, like, drums, aggressive, Deso, and trying to take that first Roshan, own the map, and make them feel like they have to try and farm space that they just can't occupy.
This TA's game is going to be trash. That's like my prediction
Ember's
for the game.
Just that good.
Ember just kills TA, and since Tiny's free to do whatever because Underlord has a free lane, I think it's... I just don't see how this TA is going to get creeps, but if she does have like #1 net worth at 12 minutes, suddenly my vision of this game is way different.
The question is, do they sack Sableye both in draft and in game? They've already shown that they can first pick his hero. Can they also then let the clockwork sit on mid, for example? Minute 1, minute 2, you then access into mid lane, you pressure Ember for a minute, suddenly now TA's got the breathing room she needs to actually be able to play that lane. And then you go back to Sableye, like, go his buddy, we'll get you a game now because we've made stacks, or we've done something to enable you later on. But Clockwork, TA, these are the key heroes you have to look at for this game to go well.
Talk is cheap. Let's see what the casters have to make of this game as we pass it on over to them.
Talk is cheap? How are you going to say that to professional commentators, Tsunami? You're insulting my livelihood. Talk is all I have at this point, Jenkins.
That's not an insult for me. My talk is actually quite cheap.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of your talk. I just got too much of it on the previous panel.
I'm actually paying to be here. It's very expensive.
That is sad, but it is true.
Yeah, well, that's life, isn't it?
Hey, looks like we already got a game underway as the bounty runes are already went out, and we are going to have a matchup here where it looks like the Darkseer matchup is going to be up against the Anti-Mage as expected. I thought something weird was happening for a moment here. The TA versus the Ember Spirit, so everything is normal.
Yep, pretty standard. basically. Yeah, it's exactly standard lanes. You got the Night Stalker carry bot versus the Underlord lane as well.
I have to say, whenever you're up against the best team in the world, it must be exhausting to be Secret, you know? Because when you're up against the best team in the world, like there's something, I'm sure there's no doubt, there's a part of you, no matter how confident you are, you're like, it's Secret.
It's true. You know,
can we really do things the normal way? So everyone tries to like do some weird cheesy shit against them.
But that could be an advantage. But you know, I was gonna say, like, I want NiP to win just because they're up against Secret. Anytime Secret's in a game, I want them to lose because they're so good that I don't expect them to lose.
Yeah.
That's gotta be exhausting too.
Definitely. Like if Ninjas in Pajamas won this first game, it would be very, very hype. However, it'd be hype because, well, it's mostly unlikely because Secret has been looking like such a dominant team for such a long time, including their recent run of first places.
It's like 4 in a row now, something like that.
Yeah, and like dropping very, very few games. If you go back through their record, just dropping like individual games, it's astonishing how few they've actually dropped as a whole.
They are leaps and bounds, man, above everybody else. We'll see if NiP can do it.
That being said, Ninjas in Pajamas, they already picked up the first blood.
Yeah, I think if you're Puppy, you're kind of okay with that, though, because that was a 2-man creep cut there for just 1 wave. So, that's okay.
Everyone's been burned out of their mana. Voodoo Restoration, he just kind of keeps up with Matumaman. Matumaman can go hard as he wants to. That Orb of Venom almost getting him the kill.
The salve at the last second.
The salve at the last second keeps him alive, but the damage is already kind of done. He has to make the slow walk back to base.
I was going to say, I feel like you kind of want to die there almost. Just fill the bottle.
Well, that's going to be a little bit rough, that lane. What about this? We need to talk about this. The safe lane Night Stalker. This, Jenkins, you seen this? What do you think? What's your verdict? Garbage?
Yeah, I've seen it. I think it's fairly garbage.
Okay.
You know? Oh, this is a nice little... I like this. Wow.
Nifty breakdown.
I think it makes sense in this draft. You have TA on the mid lane, like Brian was saying, big old BSJ. That is the win condition hero, so you know you don't need a true carry. You just need somebody to go make space for the true carry. So I think it makes sense in that sense. But the problem is you have a TA that you're banking on to carry you mid, and there's a lot of good TA counters on the enemy team.
Yeah, list some of them for me.
You know, you have this.
Dude, is Aaron gonna die? Aaron's just pushing it to the limit here. And once again, the Voodoo Restoration really makes the difference there in that fighting back and forth.
I hate to be the guy that's like every time somebody dies, like, that's worth it. But it's a support. He can fill the Darkseer bottle. Like, this is... You literally pick Darkseer to do that. So it's really not that big of a deal. What is a big deal is the fact that he's not CSing well at all on Darkseer. That's the big deal.
No, he's not. 7-1 on the only core that hasn't hit that double-digit mark.
Yeah. But going back to the TA counters, you have Ember Spirit, you have Tiny Avalanche, you have Witch Doctor Maledict, you have Underlord who can use his Q, you have Anti-Mage who has the Manta Illusions. Like, all of these things will tear through refraction charges. It is not easy to play TA in this game. You have to absolutely pop off, and it's kind of going okay for him. He can still pop off, but it's not a stomp.
It sounds like to me, with that long list of things, he needs a lot of time. Where he needs those, like, that 3 core item.
I think so.
And then be able to come in. So, it's going to be a lot of hard work for Ninjas in Pajamas to run around the map as 4 and carry the game in the first 25 minutes with this Night Stalker. And he does have a lot of assistance, right? He's got Ion Shell. He's got a Surge. He's got Inkswell.
That's true. He's got buffs. He's got heroes to disrupt as well. Night Stalker, Clockwork.
Era will die again here, and Charlie, being pressured in that bottom lane, got really low. This is looking rather spooky. They're losing both their side lanes, and, well, it's not like mid is being dominated so hard by the Templar Assassin that this is acceptable.
You're right. There's going to need to be some sort of lane rotation soon, I think, with like a Clockwork moving. You can't really go towards the mid lane, so it'll probably be towards the Underlord lane. Or maybe move the Grimstroke out of the bot lane, something like that.
Oh, he's sitting on the high ground. Nisha's really banking on some misses here. No misses yet. Supreme looks to be able to run him down. 2 more shots. Refraction hit. That does it. Supreme. A big win there in the mid lane.
Yeah, that's a great start. Just the TA hitting level 6 before the Ember Spirit, allowing her to use those traps and kind of catch him off guard there. And Ember's abilities, they're just too low cooldown, or too high cooldown right now to really take some sort of persistent fight against her. And this sucks to be Era. This is sad.
Once again, finding himself burned of all of his mana.
Takes only a couple hits, really, against a Clockwork.
Yeah.
Not a fun hero to play against. Anti-Mage does not care about a Clockwork in his lane. Not even a bit.
Oh, they're certainly showing why they put their faith and trust in Supreme's Templar Assassin, his second most played hero in professional games. I think he's up to something like 48 matches of Templar Assassin now. Zai, he's going to die in the bottom lane, so we're finally getting some turnaround here at bottom because it's nighttime with the Night Stalker and they got him full regened up, so...
Yeah, with the Grimstroke Inkswall too, always pretty easy to set up a kill with any hero that likes to get on top of people. Obviously pretty easy with the Night Stalker.
Nisha going for the man fight again against Supreme. Of course, this time around he is level 6. Gotta be careful of those side blade hits. Supreme doing just a fantastic job lining those up.
Yeah, he's really putting the pressure on in this lane. Ember Spirit. This is one of those matchups where it can go either way. Basically, one of them is going to die at some point, or the TA just goes to jungle, and Supreme getting that kill means that basically Nisha's game is incredibly difficult from now on. And that's why YapzOr is coming to the mid lane and trying to make a rotation. Oh, yeah, it's back.
I guess the Ember Spirit waved them off. And, or maybe YapzOr just had the correct read that there was vision on that high ground.
Yeah.
You saw that rotation coming.
Sometimes you'll just see the enemy mid laner and they'll kind of like move away from you a little bit whenever you're making a rotation like that to the point where it's like, he must have vision. You just kind of get the feeling.
And if you do fall into that bait, let's say the Templar Assassin doesn't like completely hide out or anything, but like does kind of like, okay, I'm here. They could just as easily like TP in the Night Stalker as soon as you get close. You commit to the Templar Assassin, all of a sudden things have turned around. You've given up a double kill. Charlie. Okay, rooted up. YapzOr trying to run interference right now to let Nisha get away. That Inkswell going off. I thought maybe they would chase down Nisha a little bit more, but you know, Nisha has an escape mechanism here. He actually goes in onto Supreme. He's going to commit. Burning through the refraction. Can he get the kill? No, the refraction's back up. He turns around and kills Nisha. Supreme does it again. The young player from the Czech Republic showing up in this match as he gets his secondary kill on one of the best cores in the world. Nisha goes down again.
That was solo that Nisha went in there. Man. It's kind of a bit of a flex from him that he's like, you know what? 1v3, I'm going to go in on Ember Spirit. Yeah. Imagine if he got that solo kill. That would have been insane. But it was insane in another respect.
Yeah.
Man, Supreme. Really popping off here. This is exactly what they need to do because Matumba Man, he is very farmed. He is keeping this net worth lead in Secret's favor. He's about the only thing right now that's doing that.
I have to say that, you know, like I had some faith in Matumba Man. Like his move to Secret, playing like he's basically him saying like, I want to play a harder carry role. Like I'm not that guy who just space grades. I can do other things. I can fill other roles. And you know, I had faith in him, but he surpassed my expectations so far. Like on Secret, he's just looked like a really, really rock solid carry. Yeah. His animate has been particularly impressive, right?
He kind of looks like the best. And I think people were expecting it to go okay, but yeah, not like this.
6-2, 10 minutes. Bounty runes are coming up, power runes, the whole shebang. So everyone's going to be moving around the map. We're going to see our Darkseer forced out of bottom. They do have a regen to bottom lane. That's a big pickup for that Ember Spirit. And nobody there from Ninjas of Pajamas is there to stop it. So that's a bit rough. Unless Nisha actually died. So we had to burn the regen. He got hit by a rocket. Nice snipe from Era.
Yeah, that is annoying. They are absolutely keeping the pressure on Nisha. He has less farm than Zai. I think Zai is 0-2 in the offlane. He's just running down there and feeding to the Night Stalker, and he's still CSing better than the Ember.
Yeah. Maybe it's time for Nisha to start taking control of his fate, moving around the map and seeing if he can get some farm that way. After all, it's daytime. Get the kill at bottom. It's a siege wagon wave, so they want to be able to force the Night Stalker away, and he does use Darkness. TP's up to top.
But they have the catapult. They can possibly push this if they're willing to tank it.
Yeah, Zai, he says, I'm down.
Yeah, they've got the resources. They have a full bottle on Nisha. I really like this skill build choice from Nisha. Like, this is not something you traditionally see on Ember Spirit with going for extra points in the chains. But I think if you're just running around with Boots chainmail, like, you kind of have to have something else that's going to help you gank. Like, you can't just run people down. You don't have phase boots to run people down with the W build.
Yeah, it's definitely a hero kill build, right?
It is, for sure. And that's the only way I think he's going to come back in this game. It's a really good choice from Nisha.
Yeah, and they
Oh, this would
play
be a
fast
kill.
here. This is a big smoke. If they can actually bring down Supreme, he's got no help around him.
Wow.
Well done. Just like that, Nisha is now level 9.
Dude, Matuma's...
Saberlight, holy crap.
He's 1v3! Excuse me?
Yeah, well,
Sir, there are 3 heroes there.
he doesn't care. He just mans up, almost kills Saberlight.
These are the
goes
best
back to
anti-mage
farming.
games, man. When you actually win the lane and you can just be so annoyingly aggressive.
Yes.
I saw him earlier taking the enemy bounties too. Like, he just feels impossible to kill in this game until Night Stalker gets a little bit stronger. Like, I don't see they don't have any disable for him. He can just jump around, do whatever he wants.
Yeah, and isn't that really concerning? Isn't that a big downside of Night Stalker, is that he does have just these gigantic windows where you feel like you can go completely unpunished if you're the AM and many other heroes. Nice soul bites here. Misstroke of fate, though, from Misha, and no other follow-up from the rest of the team. Ninjas of Pajamas, even worse. They rotate to mid, but they do nothing with that rotation.
Man, Yapzor's really salvaging Nisha's game here. Just getting him these kills and assists with the max toss avalanche. Like, Tiny being level 8 at this point is I mean, that's pretty high. Saberlight is level 7.
And to his own benefit as well, he's closing in on a Blink Dagger here.
Yeah, that is an early blink. Yapzor is actually huge. He is carrying this game so far. 4K gold lead.
Yeah, dude.
6 to 6.
Supreme, he's like, all right, I'll give us a good hope here.
Clockwork.
That double kill on mid, and then it just all gets taken away.
Clock got every last hit with
saw.
that rocket. That is so annoying.
Air's gonna pop out. Hello, Yapzor. Unfortunately, Misha was showing, so Yapzor instantly tosses him away. And it looks like as a result, they may just run out of damage. Vacuum back Yapzor a little bit more, and they got him. Nisha is forced to jump away as the double ion shell burn was gonna be too much for him to try and stick around and get some vengeance. Supreme's just gonna two-shot Puppey if he gets the second hit in, but the paralyzing cast! Oh no! What a toss, Supreme. He's gonna be dying here, burned out by the Maledict. What a close call. If he gets that second hit in before the paralyzing cast, then it's just a freebie and he keeps farming.
That's one of those moments where you point out where a lot of people are like, oh, these captain players, like, their mechanics suck. You know, they don't ever do anything cool. They just captain the game. They just draft. Well, look at that.
Yeah.
That was sick. I mean, he was surely dead there. Then he turns around and gets a solo kill. Well, almost a solo kill. I think he probably would have just died to Maledict.
Yeah, I think so.
That was nice from Puppey. I did not expect that, even though it's Puppey. I did not expect that. That is a level 11 TA.
This is what you're talking about, man. Yapzor just continues to play with Nisha, trying to recover his game. Saberlight, who's been playing down here, is going to go for the vacuum away.
That is what you sound like.
I wonder how they saw that. I didn't think daytime vision was stretching out that far, but... Because it's Ninjas of Pajamas who have the high ground ward, or did have the high ground ward, now been dewarded.
Yeah. They're doing all of this with no vision. Like, they're just manning up in the jungle. Once again, going back to this lack of disable on NiP, their best disable is Night Stalker.
I believe they were talking about on the panel, they need to play fast and not go Hand-of-Midas. Well, guess what? Charlie's going to bank up a Hand-of-Midas, but if he can actually cobble together a good fight with a Soulbind double silence out onto the two of these heroes, it's looking pretty good. Look at that Death Ward, though, on the high ground. It's laying into Charlie. Charlie has to stop it. He finally uses the Void onto Puppey, but he gets swamped on. Zai lands right on his head, crushes his skull, and now Saberlight, he's going to be up next. Yapzor, he goes down to the hit from Supreme, but Supreme left with very little left. Yule Scepter blowing up that ink swell, and now they have Supreme to their mercy. Matuma executes him with Mana Void, and Misha, he'll be the last one down. Stand in for Ninjas of Pajamas. He falls alongside the rest of them. A 1-for-5 exchange to the favor of Secret.
Look at those odds.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Well deserving, too, it seems.
Oh, we see why those odds are like that. I think it's really cool that Matumba Man on Anti-Mage shows up to the fight, just because it's clear that they have this idea that, like, okay, if we group all 5 of our heroes for this team fight, there is literally no way that NiP can fight. Even though it breaks that kind of cardinal rule of an Anti-Mage, where it's like, you don't show up for fights for like 25 minutes, you know? It's like, well, if I show up to this fight, they can't win, so why not? Even though I've got a Battle Fury. You know, you'd flame somebody in a pub for doing that. It's like, what are you doing? Go farm. You have a Battle Fury. That's not a fighting item, you dumbass. But he knows better.
Best part is it makes it look so good because then he's just able to jump from that position to the next round of farming. Zai tries to be the hero here, try to save Puppey. Unfortunately, just a second too late. Meanwhile, Ember Spirit just ran right into the Darkseer TA. Again, just the lack of disables, man. This Ember Spirit is like, he had a bad laning phase, sure, but the only thing they have to fear is like
Crippling Fear.
Crippling Fear itself.
Yep.
Nothing to fear but fear itself.
Nope.
Yeah.
And he's only got level 1 too, so it's not like it's a long duration disable, even during the nighttime. A lot of the time you'll see these carry Night Stalkers, they'll go 2 points in Void, and then they'll go max passive, and then max Crippling Fear, just because, you know, you do right-click damage, but in this game, Charlie's opting to play with the Void, which people are doing more and more these days, just because of the Void talent, level 10.
Tell me, Jenkins, if you get an Aghanims on Night Stalker, is that still counted as a single target ability?
I believe it does not break Lincoln Sphere. I don't think it is.
Okay, so in that case, it probably doesn't proc off of Grimstroke and his Soulbind.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
I'm just curious if there was an interesting interaction there. Not that we're very likely going to be seeing that, just because...
Looks like it's going to end before that point.
Yeah, and it might just. Because this Night Stalker strategy, this is supposed to be when it's in full, right? We've got the second nighttime. This is the start of Night Stalker taking over the game. Doing the pushback. Can he get there in time with the silence? No! Nisha has already jumped away.
I mean, that's all of your disable right there. They just did it. I mean, hook into Cog, knockback into his Crippling Fear. That's basically it. If that doesn't work, I don't know what's going to work.
Yeah, the execution has to be like perfect.
Flawless.
Yeah, and it's just, well, Secret's going to make it hard on you.
I love that Nisha dies twice in the lane and still is keeping so much pressure on. Oh, they're trying to go for a setup on him.
Yeah, and he does manage to get the silence into another silence. He pops his Blade Mail, though, and with all of these heroes behind him, Night Stalker's just not able to commit. Plus, I mean, the Pit of Malice also allows you to separate from that silence. You get out of the Crippling Fear. It only needs just quarter of a second. You can jump away to a Remnant. That's how.
Yeah, if you get the slide off, no amount of silence or disable, it doesn't matter. You're just out.
What do you think of this Eul's build on the Underlord as opposed to like the Rod of Atos build that we've seen?
I like this. This is the Ice build. Really great against if there's anything that you need to purge. So you have the Grimstroke Bubble and Darkseer.
Yeah, so getting pretty far forward there. Era tries to counter-initiate and jump onto him. He gets tossed back into the other heroes, but it does mean he gets on top of Puppey. They're going to be able to take that one, but thanks to the old Uberlord, he gets everybody out. Just trades a 1-for-1 Puppey for Era.
Yeah, great time to Underlord out, ult out of there when you're standing behind the enemy tier 2s, almost at the tier 3s. At 19 minutes into the game. Very good timing on that. God, this Anti-Mage build. I honestly feel like this build is half the reason why Anti-Mage is viable right now. You get the Heaven's Halberd, and it puts him past that threshold of being such a pain in the ass to kill that even counters to Anti-Mage can't kill Anti-Mage. TA, like, what do you have that's going to deal with that Heaven's Halberd early?
Yeah.
TA used to be able to solo IM. Not anymore.
Yeah, it always felt like okay, you get Battle Fury, then you're gonna get your Manta. He's really squishy.
Like you need
still.
4 items. You need 4 items to be tanky before.
Yeah. And now it's just Heaven's Halberd, and everything's kind of forgiven. You have evasion, you have this huge amount of strength that you're gonna get. You've got a disarm that counters usually your best heroes that like
spell
go against
reflect,
you. Yeah.
Magic. Magic resistance.
Right as they walked away from Supreme in the mid lane, that is when Secret strikes. Now, they are going to be able to maybe get a kill in return. That's going to be on Matamba Man. Oh, the hook shot at the last second, right as he was about to blink away. Nicely done by Era to ensure the kill. Still, though, it's basically carry for carry. The Templar Assassin is the one position of Ninjas in Pajamas.
Yeah, that was an ideal situation there for them. Catching him off guard like that, totally away from his team, in the Darkseer wall, in the cogs, with Grimstroke Bug silencing him. Like, that was a combination of abilities that I didn't expect to see, honestly, in this game. Like, that's pretty hard to hit those. But I suppose the rest of Secret were distracted.
They lost their mech for 3 minutes, so that's not great.
That's pretty sad. And again, they have no nighttime for almost 3 minutes. I have a minute and a bit, so whatever.
Do you think they can win late game on Ninjas in Pajamas? Like, I'm just curious, like, what is the point of this Hand of Midas? Because the payout, like, by the time it actually pays for itself, you're kind of already in the, okay, AM is 6 slotted.
You're definitely right. I think it's a mistake to bank on it. I think if you're going late game with the Nightstalker TA, there's probably some cool stuff that you can do. You know, Nightstalker, his ulti does add a lot of damage. You can get the Nullifier. Late game Nightstalker is no joke. The vision advantage is always something that's strong in the late game. But yeah, like you were saying, I really think that building into a Midas and banking on the late game is definitely a mistake versus Anti-Mage.
So maybe
letting him hit his timing.
Maybe if like the net worth had been reversed, right? It's like securing your advantage with the Midas as the Nightstalker in that sort of situation.
Yeah, for
so
sure.
like making sure that if this game does dry out, you'll be able to scale into late game. But
For sure.
sadly, Ninjas in Pajamas were never really in that place. And well, for the foreseeable future, they're going to continue to be the victims of Secret's aggression as they just hop from one hero to the next. That's going to be 3 heroes run down in rapid, quick succession. And then go for the tier 2. Open up the outpost. That'll mean even less map control for Ninjas in Pajamas.
Man, Matamba is he level 21 at 22 minutes? Okay, almost. Okay, he's 20.
20 and 23.
At 23 minutes. That is insane. I'm actually confused as to how. Like, I need to watch this game again in his perspective. Like, I don't know how you get so many levels.
I mean, how many kills has he been a part of? That's got to be a very large reason because...
This is true.
He's been a part of 10 different kills.
He's also farming, though, as well. Like,
Yeah.
I think his, you know, to use the classic buzzword, his farming patterns have been phenomenal this game, showing up to fights as well while farming. And there goes the tier 2.
Well, the cosmetic looks cool. At least he got that. Unfortunately, Nightstalker mechanically not looking so hot right now.
Even with the Midas, he is a poor boy. And I do really like... I thought the old Nullifier was probably better on Nightstalker because when you silence and you use the Nullify, it would essentially function like a Doom, but
Yeah.
that is no longer the case. So I don't feel like there's any huge timing for him that's going to result in him being way stronger or something like that. BKB will just make him die a little bit later. Yeah, this one's looking rough.
It's funny, like, they've got 5 heroes near Nisha there, but they don't really have the confidence to be able to jump him and bring him down with ease because he's got, like, the Yule Scepter.
Yeah, look at those items, man. He's so tanky.
Essence Ring is such a great one for this situation where you just kind of need to just go in, make yourself a target with the Blade Mail and such. Toss back into the rest of the team just inside the Roshan pit. He's going to try and hookshot his way back into safety here. Meanwhile, the Nightstalker with that Ion Shell Surge goes in, but he's just getting bashed up. Oh no! He's going to wait around this Roshan pit and see if he can actually steal away the Aegis. The Maledict's still on him. It's going to bring him very low. Matamba Man, he just gets 1 second of vision on him. Man avoids him, finish him off.
The Blade Mail.
He chooses to take his own life by hitting the Blade Mail, killing himself. A warrior's death, I guess.
Yeah, I will only die by my own hand. I mean, he won the lane. That was impressive.
Yeah.
He did a great job in the lane.
He did.
But, man, does it break down after that. Secret really kept the pressure on the TA, despite the really great start, they pulled that back so quickly.
Yeah.
Which I think is the most impressive thing in this game. Like, Nisha should not have a game right now, but he does.
21,000 net worth lead. And nothing but time on Secret's hands. Just chill out, wait for, well, an opportunity, perhaps. Finish up the rest of these tier 2s. Don't think they're really aching to go high ground just yet while it's nighttime.
Always hard against Darkseer. He just drops the wall on the hill, and all of a sudden, if you walk up, you're fighting yourself.
If you fought yourself, you think you would win?
I would kick the shit out of myself.
Yeah.
I'm so weak.
You're a dirty fighter, aren't you?
I would definitely be hitting all sorts of places. Otherwise, I'm not going to win. But the guy against me, he's going to be doing that as well.
Yeah.
Is the problem. Yeah, that would be very confusing. I think we'd both lose. Desperation Smoke is a Hail Mary.
I mean, at least Night Stalker looks cool.
Yeah, he's really fast.
Yeah.
It's impressive.
And he's blue. It's like Sonic.
Yeah. Probably the closest thing to Sonic in Dota, actually, is a Surge Night Stalker. What broke the smoke? He, like, immediately broke.
Yeah, he walked into somebody
Yeah, I don't see
farming in that jungle area. And they're going to lose their tier 3 without any initiation. Ninjas and Pajamas, they look lost. Don't know what to do.
Yeah, Secret is not giving them opportunities to... Look at them positioning to the left. Like, they know that there's this right-handed wraparound coming. Like, everybody's just standing to the left.
All right, they're going to give themselves an Animage Illusion and silence him as well, but he uses the Abyssal Blade to get over to the Darkseer, and that Mana Void. He was completely out of mana. They are going to be able to buy back, but I'm not so sure that Secret is really out of this. I mean, I guess they can back up. Oh, hey, look, there's a Clockwork back there. He's dead. That's cool.
He was desperately trying to go for the back lines there, but they've done a good job protecting them.
Misha daring Supreme to man up on him. Meanwhile, Matuma Man is picking apart the supports. Fortunately, they all seem to have buybacks, though. It's going to be a 10 versus 5. A small chance that Ninjas and Pajamas can actually pull out a kill here. And they can't even do that much. I think they almost used everybody's buyback there. And,
Yeah.
Well. One-sided games today, Jenkins. One-sided games. I can't say I was too surprised, though.